Welcome back to Way Too Early. It is 5:30 here on the East Coast, 2:30 out west. I'm Kasie Hunt. We begin this half hour with the contentious debate over the fate of the vacant seat on the Supreme Court. With just 43 days until Election Day, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has vowed to hold a Senate vote on a Trump nominee. Meanwhile, Democrats have warned Republicans to follow the precedent they set back in 2016 when they refused to consider President Barack Obama's choice for the court on the grounds that it was an election year. In early 2016, McConnell said he would not give Merrick Garland his confirmation proceedings because, he argued, voters should get to decide through the presidential election. It is also worth noting that the day after Justice Ginsburg's death, Senator Lindsey Graham, the chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, tweeted that he is, quote, dead set on confirming whoever President Trump nominates for the seat. This comes despite the multiple times he said that if a vacancy opened up in the run-up to a presidential election, he would hold off on confirmation.
If there's a Republican president in 2016 and a vacancy occurs in the last year of the first term, you can say Lindsey Graham said, let's let the next president, whoever it might be, make that nomination, and you could use my words against me, and you'd be absolutely right.
Now, I'll tell you this. This may make you feel better, but I really don't care. If an opening comes in the last year of President Trump's term and the primary process is started, we'll wait to the next election. And I've got a pretty good chance of being the judiciary.
You're on the record.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold the tape.
So there it is. Over the weekend, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer held a conference call with congressional Democrats, starting with a moment of silence for the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. But he then proceeded to highlight the stakes in the aftermath of her passing, saying, quote, our number one goal must be to communicate the stakes of this Supreme Court fight to the American people. Everything Americans value is at stake. Healthcare, protections for pre-existing conditions, women's rights, gay rights, workers' rights, labor rights, voting rights, civil rights, climate change, and so much else is at stake. Let me be clear. If Leader McConnell and Senate Republicans move forward with this, then nothing is off the table for next year. Nothing is off the table. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi struck a similar note.
Well, we have our options. We have arrows in our quiver that I'm not about to discuss right now. But the fact is, we have a big challenge in our country. This president has threatened to not even accept the results of the election with statements that he and his henchmen have made.
And joining me now, Democratic Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia. Senator, thank you so much for getting up way too early to be with us today.
Well, it is way too early, Kasie, but it's good to be with you on your beginning of your show, and I think you're going to do a great job. I'm getting ready to go to D.C., so it helped me get on the road a little bit sooner than expected. But thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much for being here. We're glad we could help you get your morning started off right. Let's talk about the news, though, because we obviously did hear a little bit from Senator Chuck Schumer just there. And I know I'm starting to hear Democrats talk about health care. Yes, abortion is part of that conversation. And obviously there are a lot of pro-abortion rights supporters who are focused on that piece of it. But what are Democrats going to do? What argument are you going to make to the American people about this, just this handful of days ahead of the election?
You know, I really think the argument's going to be truly about the American people holding people accountable for what they've said. My friend Lindsey Graham made a pretty bold statement back when he said he would hold himself accountable. You can hold him accountable. And you have to see if the people in South Carolina are going to hold him accountable and demand that he keep his word, or basically the sincerity, and if there is any integrity. And when we say something, people want to believe public officials. I really believe that. And public officials should understand the importance. And when they say something, they should mean what they say and do what they say. So it's the people that will hold them. If the people seem like it doesn't matter, doesn't change anything, then I guess they'll go on and continue to say things that they don't intend to keep their word on. But we'll see what happens. I think this is in the hands of the American people. And in the swing states right now, with all elections going on, every candidate that's running for re-election or every challenger is going to be able to put it forth to the voter to see how they feel about this. And it's not going to be the pressure from D.C. It'll be the pressure from back home. And if people back home say, listen, you told me one thing, now you're doing something, height of hypocrisy.
I was just going to say, I mean, it seems very obvious when you watch the clips, and Lindsey Graham, was so straightforward in saying, hold me accountable for saying this. I think most people who watch that say this is completely hypocritical to do it this way. Now, I understand the precedent arguments that Mitch McConnell et al. Are making about the very specific reasons why this is different. But, I mean, do Republicans, in your view, do they care that they seem so hypocritical? I mean, do they care at all? They seem full steam ahead regardless.
Kasie, you've known me a long time, and you know me well enough to know that I'm as bipartisan as it can possibly be, and I'm going to do everything I can to keep the Senate in the spirit of our founding fathers bipartisan. That means we have to reach out and work with each other, but also be direct and honest and sincere with each other. There's not anything in the rule book that has anything about decency and integrity and the dignity that we should be able to conduct ourselves. And as we think about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she was all about that. I mean, we knew where she stood. This is an icon. I've never seen and touched as much as she is. My granddaughters, my daughters, all the women in my life that think that basically this trailblazer gave them a chance. Shouldn't we at least show the dignity of the family, celebrate her life, and let's maybe take a week? Could we do that until we lay her to rest and her soul rest in peace, and then we move on? Because there's plenty of time for the political bickering back and forth. I think the public is tired of that, but let's see what happens.
Senator, speaking of the political back and forth, Chuck Schumer has said nothing is off the table if Republicans go through with pushing a Trump nominee through ahead of the election, or in the event that Joe Biden were elected and they did it in a lame duck session. That suggests that they would potentially add justices to the Supreme Court. Would you vote to add additional justices to the Supreme Court if Republicans move forward with this and put Trump's nominee on the court?
Kasie, I'm going to do everything I can to protect the institution. I'm sitting in the seat that Robert C. Byrd held for 50 years, and there's no person that did more to protect the institution than Robert C. Byrd. He wrote the rules. So I have that to be considered and live up to. I'm going to do everything in my power. Whatever I vote on, whatever I support, whatever I speak out on, is going to be basically to save the integrity and save the bipartisanship. Our founding fathers created the Senate and said we need the Senate like a saucer needs to cool off hot tea. Well, if we don't, we'll be just like the House. I mean, it's just, majority plus one, Kasie, and that's not who we are. So I'm going to do anything, decision I make will be to protect the institution, and basically in a bipartisan way. I think we have to. We owe that to the people. I owe it to West Virginia.
All right, Senator Joe Manchin, that sounds a little bit like a no to me, but thank you very much, and thank you so much for getting up so early with us. It is great to have you on our very first show. So thank you.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.